This is your weekly report on corruption in the Philippine government. What was meant to be a festive countdown turned into a tragedy after a policeman was shot dead by motorcycle-riding gunmen in Diplahan town, Zamboanga City, just 36 minutes before the new year. Police Staff Sergeant Junray Estalo Gamones, 37, was to visit his family when he was ambushed at 11:24 p.m. on Wednesday, the 31st of December, in Barangay Poblacion. Captain Mary Joy Necesario, Diplahan Police Chief, identified Gamones as a resident of Barangay Danlugan, Pagadian City. He was an active member of the 2nd Provincial Mobile Force Company under the Zamboanga del Sur Provincial Police Office. Initial investigations revealed that Gamones, who was in full field service uniform, had earlier asked permission from his team leader to travel to Barangay Mabini in Malangas town to see his family for the holidays. He was ambushed while traversing a dimly lit portion of the national highway leading to Malangas. Responding police officers, alerted by local residents, found Gamones lying beside his motorcycle. He was rushed to the Wilfredo Palma Memorial Hospital in Diplahan where he was declared dead despite a 20-minute effort to revive him. 4 fired 5.56mm cartridges were found at the crime scene while the victim's issued firearm was missing, believed to have been carted away by the gunman. Citing initial accounts of witnesses, police said the victim was reportedly tailed by 2 unidentified men on a yellow-green Yamaha Mio motorcycle. Both men were wearing black jackets and brandished long firearms. Authorities have yet to establish a motive for the killing. Diplahan police are currently conducting backtracking of CCTV footage from nearby establishments to identify the suspects, who were last seen fleeing toward Malangas. 4 police officers were among those involved in 15 cases of indiscriminate firing recorded by the Philippine National Police between the 16th of December, 2025, and the 1st of January, 2026, during the holiday festivities. Data shared by the PNP with reporters on Thursday showed that 2 of the indiscriminate firing cases each occurred in Ilocos Sur and Iloilo, while 1 each took place in Abra, Batangas, Benguet, Cagayan de Oro City, Catanduanes, Isabela, Manila, Negros Occidental, Pampanga, Parañaque City, and Surigao del Sur. The PNP's latest tally also noted that 6 of the cases occurred on Christmas Day, 3 early on New Year's Day, 2 on the 22nd of December, and 1 each on the 18th of December, 19th, 21st, and 31st. PNP's data also detailed that the incidents resulted in the arrest of 14 individuals, while 3 more remain at large. The cases also led to the confiscation of 6 caliber 9mm pistols, 5 caliber 45 pistols, 2 caliber 22 revolvers, a caliber 38 revolver, and a caliber 5.56 rifle. Regarding the cases involving police officers, PNP data showed that the incidents involved a police master sergeant in Surigao del Sur, a police senior master sergeant in Iloilo, a patrolman in Parañaque City, and a patrolman in Cagayan de Oro. The first 3 officers were arrested in connection with the indiscriminate firing incidents, while the 4th remains at large. According to the PNP, acting PNP Chief Lieutenant General Jose Melencio Nartates Jr. had previously warned police officers against using their service firearms during holiday festivities, saying they could face criminal and administrative sanctions, including possible dismissal from the police force. A 54-year-old village councillor who allegedly shot and wounded a neighbor during the New Year's Day revelry surrendered to authorities on Thursday, according to Colonel Jason San Pedro, chief of police of the city of Baliwag. The victim was a 45-year-old man who was celebrating the new year with his family under a tree in Pinagbarilan at around 12:45 am when a stray bullet hit him in the neck. The victim was rushed to the nearest hospital and is currently undergoing treatment. San Pedro said the bullet's trajectory was traced to a residential area beyond a vacant lot about 1.5 kilometers away, which pointed to the suspect's house. Police seized more than 20 spent shells from a 22 caliber firearm and a 9mm pistol. The suspect, who was not named in the report, surrendered at around 6 am after the victim's family reported the incident to the police. The Philippine National Police on Sunday said it dismissed over 3,000 personnel in 2025. This developed as it resolved 4,203 administrative cases against 6,527 personnel in 2025. PNP records showed that the involved personnel included 1,101 police commissioned officers, 5,229 police non-commissioned officers, and 197 non-uniformed personnel. Of the 6,529 affected personnel, 3,124 were dismissed. Another 3,403 face penalties ranging from demotion to suspension following due process and careful review of the evidence. These figures show that accountability in the PNP is not selective and not superficial. PNP Acting Chief Lieutenant General Jose Melencio Nartates Jr. said in a news release. Nartates said discipline is a foundation of police service. Wearing a uniform is a privilege, not a right. Those who betray public trust will be held accountable, while those proven innocent are clearing their names. That balance is essential to a professional police force, he said. He said, meanwhile, that internal cleansing efforts will continue alongside reforms aimed at strengthening ethics, professionalism, and public trust. This, he said, is anchored on the principle that discipline within the organization directly translates to better service to the people. Retired Air Force General Romeo Poquez was arrested Monday at Ninoy Aquino International Airport over an inciting to sedition charge, the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group said. Fresh off a family trip to Thailand, Poquez arrived at Nair at 8:11 am when police arrested him on the strength of an arrest warrant issued by the Quezon City Regional Trial Court Branch 77. CIDG National Capital Region Chief Colonel John Gagi told reporters in an interview at Camp Crame. Poquez is the convener of the United People's Initiative, a group of retired military officers that has called for President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to step down amid the corruption scandal. The arrested retired general was brought to the CIDG NCR headquarters in Camp Crame, Quezon City, at around 9:50 am according to Gagi. Poquez was undergoing standard booking procedures, fingerprinting, mugshots, and a medical exam, before being brought before the RTC, which set his bail at 48,000 pesos. Poquez's legal counsels, Ferdinand Topacio and Virgilio Garcia, accused the police of initially preventing them from conferring with their client. We were insistent. We wanted to talk to our client. They wouldn't let us through. We wanted to make sure that our client would be transported safely and to know where he would be brought. We were practically chasing after them, Garcia said in Filipino in a chance interview at Camp Crame. He added that their camp plans to file administrative and criminal cases against the arresting police officers. Topacio also said in Filipino, "We blame the executive branch for weaponizing the Department of Justice to persecute and attack those whom they view as enemies of the government. Instead of jailing the corrupt, he jailed those going after the corrupt," he added. Gagi maintained that Poquez's legal counsels were unable to immediately confer with their client because they arrived late and had not yet secured clearance to pass through airport security. In a separate press briefing at Camp Crame on Monday, Acting Philippine National Police Chief Lieutenant General Jose Melencio Nartates Jr. likewise maintained that the police observed due process in Poquez's arrest. Asked whether the arrest signaled a crackdown on anti-administration sentiments among retired uniformed personnel, Nartates said in Filipino, "It's not personal." For allegedly refusing to follow lawful directives and wearing expensive footwear, a retired Philippine National Police General is facing administrative cases, the National Police Commission announced yesterday. The Napolcom's Inspection, Monitoring and Investigation Service filed cases of less grave neglect of duty and conduct unbecoming of a police officer against former PNP Health Service Chief Brigadier General Jezebel Imelda Medina. Medina allegedly failed to comply with repeated directives from the Napolcom to submit the psychiatric and psychological report of a patrolman assigned with the Quezon City Police District. The QCPD officer, a vlogger, posted seditious remarks online when Medina was Health Service Director. The second basis for the filing of the complaint was Medina's alleged display of a luxury item, particularly a pair of footwear valued at 70,599 pesos or nearly equivalent to 1 month's basic salary of a brigadier general. The act, according to Napolcom, raised concern about modest living and ethical conduct required of all public servants, most especially senior PNP officials. Medina reached the mandatory retirement age of 56 last the 25th of December. She is a respected member of the PNP, being the first Igorot woman general in the police force. A dentist by profession, Medina entered the PNP in 1993 and rose from the ranks. A graduate of the University of Baguio, Medina has received numerous awards, including Dental Officer of the Year and Best Regional Administrative Unit Chief. She spearheaded programs which provided quality health services not only to PNP personnel but also the marginalized service. Among these is the Kalinga ni Ina, Abot NG Makaka and a one-time, big-time Pangkalasugan program, which improved access to health services of the poor. The Philippine Coast Guard said on Tuesday, the 6th of January, that it has launched an administrative investigation against one of its personnel accused of sexually harassing a waitress at a restaurant in Pasay City. According to initial investigation, the incident reportedly happened around 1 a.m. on the 5th of January at a restaurant in Pasay City. The victim was performing her duties as a waitress when the suspect allegedly touched her buttocks before entering the comfort room of the establishment. The PCG said the victim immediately sought help from security personnel, and when the suspect came out of the comfort room, the victim identified him as the one who sexually harassed her. The suspect was then brought to a police station and placed under police custody for possible violation of Republic Act No. 113-13 or the Safe Spaces Act or Boyle Bastas Law. PCG spokesperson Captain Nomi Kayabayab said the Coast Guard does not tolerate any form of misconduct by its personnel, whether committed on duty or off duty. Such behavior runs counter to the core values of the organization and undermines public trust in the service, Kayabayab said. The PCG personnel involved was off duty and not in uniform at the time of the incident. He entered the service in 2023, according to Kayabayab. While the suspect is facing civilian legal proceedings, the PCG has opened a separate administrative case. Kayabayab said the penalty could be severe if the accusation is proven. If it is proven that our personnel committed a violation of the Safe Spaces Act, it is possible that he will be removed from the service or dishonorably discharged, she said. Kayabayab stressed that the PCG leadership will not tolerate misconduct among its ranks. The leadership of the PCG will not condone this kind of misconduct by our personnel, whether inside or outside the performance of their duties, she said. She added that the PCG is fully cooperating with authorities to ensure justice for the victim. We reaffirm that the PCG will give its full cooperation so that justice may be served for the victim, Kayabayab said. Asked about the suspect's explanation and whether alcohol was involved, Kayabayab declined to give details. We are conducting an ongoing investigation and continuous inquiry, so we cannot disclose details at the moment, she said. A village official of Barangay Tigib in Oris Town, Eastern Samar was killed in a stabbing incident on Tuesday, the 6th of January, police said. The victim, Anil Montalana, 56, the incumbent chairman of Barangay Tigib, was declared dead on arrival at Oris Doctors Hospital after sustaining multiple stab wounds, according to the Oris Municipal Police Station. The incident occurred at around 7:50 am. A concerned citizen reported the stabbing to police, prompting responding officers to rush to the area. The victim was found lying bloodied on the side of the road with visible stab wounds and was immediately transported by the emergency response team to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead by the attending physician. Initial police investigation revealed that the victim was on his way home aboard his motorcycle after bringing his wife to their store in Barangay Tigib. Upon reaching an intersection about 40 meters from his residence, he was suddenly attacked and stabbed by the suspect, identified as Eric Loret, 45, of Barangay Batanga, also in Oris. Police said the suspect used a short-bladed weapon locally known as a dipon, stabbing the victim in different parts of his body. Despite managing to dismount his motorcycle and seek help, the victim was chased by the suspect and stabbed again, sustaining a fatal wound to the chest. The suspect initially fled on foot toward the mountainous area of Barangay Kamanga, Oris. A hot pursuit operation was immediately launched, leading to his arrest at an isolated house belonging to his younger brother in the same barangay. The suspect and the weapon used in the incident were brought to the Oris MPS for proper disposition. Authorities are continuing their investigation to determine the motive behind the attack. That's all for this week. I'll see you next Friday with more stories of corruption and foolishness within the Philippine government.